Hey all, welcome to Parker's Reefs. In today's episode, I'm at what could be Australia's biggest fish shop. Have a look at this place, the Tech Den. We're gonna head in and do a tour right now. All right, thank you for joining me on yet another episode of Parker's Reefs. And as touched on in the intro, today we are visiting what could well be Australia's biggest aquarium store, and I'm talking about the Tech Den up in Brisbane. This place is absolutely massive, and it is not a pet store, it is a true blue aquarium. And you've possibly heard of their website before because they have a huge website with a heap of products at very, very good prices. But I had the opportunity to visit the store and I was blown away with just how big the on-site premises was. And of course, a visit wouldn't be complete without taking you guys along for the ride. So without any further ado, let's roll the footage and check out the Tech Den. All right, here we are at the Tech Den, 24 Alta Road, and as I mentioned in the intro, you can get them at thetechden.com.au as well. But first thing you notice is the pure size of this place, including the car park, which I will say for a weekday was flat out. These guys are always busy, and you'll be understanding why when you head in store and see the huge range of both live goods and also dry goods that they have. But we'll make our way in here, no mistaking where the entrance is. This is the aquarium shop, and when you first walk in, you'll be excused for losing your breath because have a look at the size of this place. From display tanks and water supply tanks over this side through to your fish and corals up the back corner there, and your freshwater fish right along that back wall. Huge number of aisles, yes, aisles of dry goods, and then of course your counter here with all of your high-end equipment. So there is absolutely lots to cover here. Let's start making our way around. We head over here, you can see the water storage containers there for people getting their salt water and RODI. And one thing that grabbed my attention here was this free fish, adopt a fish campaign they run here, where you can willingly surrender your decorative freshwater fish here. The team will hold them and can give them away for free to people that have a good home for them. I thought that was a really good initiative. Very well done by the Tech Den, because it's something that will cost them time and money. So really good effort for the industry there. But moving on to some salty things here. Check out this Red Sea display tank that I hear these doors were supplied by Red Sea, but Red Sea are not making them available. Hopefully our Red Sea reps can listen and say, maybe people would like to have these clear doors on their Red Sea tanks, because I think they look a treat, particularly when you've got that sump area looking pretty as it does down there by the team at the Tech Den. And have a look at this hammer display tank. This phone here is not really getting the colors. I will get the DSLR, particularly around that bubble coral there, onto this tank, because there's a lot of natural light in this room and it doesn't really showcase how beautiful the colors are in this system. Have a look at this beautiful, 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 huge bubble coral up there with toxic marbling all through it. Stunning piece indeed, and he's got a little stinger cell out there, as the bubbles tend to do. Heading on over to the hammer garden here, you can see just how gold this beautiful piece here is. Look at that. It's got that little eyeliner, blue line around the gold, really making it pop very nicely indeed. Up into a reverse stem there, 3 different shades of green just to showcase the range that these hammers do come in. You can see a nice sort of yellow marble there as well. Some more of the teal colored pieces. Some really nice variety of corals in here, just to really showcase the breadth of things that are available to us lucky Aussie reefers here. And you can see that bommy in the center is that stacked that I just cannot get the DSLR around it without things getting out of focus. Just about lifted the camera out of the water there. So we'll move across over to these pieces here. You can see a little bit of a soft coral garden there from Rhodactis, fluffy morphs, recordias. You've got some leathers. And then up on the rack here, I was curious. I should have asked the team, are they trying to find room for all of these hammer frags to go into this display, or is it overflow from some of the sail tanks? Or could even they be potentially fragged from the hammers in this tank here? But either way, there is a bunch of different hammer frags sitting on the rack here, which is super, super interesting. You can see a little bit more of the soft corals out the back there. But overall, it's a very nice display tank. But the display tanks for the marine side of things do not stop there. We head on over to this water box tank here that's lit up by the Reef Factory Reef Flare. And we can see down in the sump section, they've got a Reef Factory roller, marine pure brick in the vault there, bubble mega skimmer, got some Reef factory water level controllers. You've got Aquaforest Components Pro in there being dosed by the Reef factory doses. So a very well equipped tank here. And again, this one has some incredible pieces in there. I will get the DSLR onto this one as well. Lots of things to cover in here, from the Zoas to the Acans, the Trackies. You've got some SBS in here. You've got some Chalice, looks like some Samacora up there, some Montes over there, a huge assortment of different Gonies and Alveos, and then a pretty handy little torch garden down there in amongst the Deshies as well. So the Tech Den have not pulled any sort of punches in stocking this display tank here. And like I said, we do need to get the DSLR on this to really showcase the beauty of some of these corals. And here we see that beautiful DSLR footage. Take a look at this gold torch just dancing in the flow there. Some nice supporting crew torch around it there. You got some nice gold tip torches, some mint tip torches, and then you come up into things like this beautiful red Goni, and you can see it's got perfect placement to really let those extensions come out and really showcase the color. Again, you've got some nice supporting Goni around it and some Alveopora just to showcase the diversity and the range. You look down on the base, you'll see some pretty handy Deshi down there as well, just sitting basically on top of each other as they work out some sand space there. You got a nice little Scully garden there. Then you head up onto the top here where there's some Monty and a nice little redline cleaner shrimp just setting himself up under that Monty. Heading up here, you can see even more Monty on there. Again, really well placed to get the green and red contrast. You've got the traditional green star polyps growing on the back wall. You've got some nice little soft corals there and a few encrusting LPS pieces. Heading on over this way, we get to that Zoa garden. You can see, pretty sure there's some Utter Chaos, some Rasters, and a few other nicely named pieces in there. You got a nice little Trachophilia garden forming down there on the base. Some Acans here as the camera focuses in on them. Nice little assortment of Acans actually. And then at the top of this bommy, you'll see some SBS pieces, and you see a nice little Millie there. You've got a beautiful green acro here. This is not what I'd call a smooth skin, but it's pretty close to a smooth skin, and it's got a really nice growth to it. And then of course the traditional Dallas up in the top corner. Now it's not just about marine, because I actually really liked this Aqua One Reef system that's set up as a freshwater tank. It's got the Delua pixels on top of it as lighting source, and I got to tell you, the plants and fish in there absolutely pops. Look at those big bubbles of gas and stuff going in there. Your little fogger at the top there. Really cool looking little system. But that's not the only freshwater system. There's this tank here, which I think actually I couldn't tell you what brand it is, but have a look at the Euro brace on it. A one piece Euro brace there, cuts around the weir. It's got outlets there for the lighting brackets and everything. And then you come across into what has to be a custom-made paludarium. This can't be an off-the-shelf item. It's absolutely massive. It stands a good 7 or 8 feet tall, and you can see huge bits of driftwood or vines in there, just so you can get some scaping happen. And then you come over here, they've got an Oasi pond section, which is really cool little setup. It's an above-ground pond that they've set up, because obviously they're on a concrete floor here, and they've still managed to get a big pond in here with some big fish and some really nice plants growing around it. Really nicely done, showcasing some lighting, showcasing some flow, and of course showcasing some fish, as well as the hardware running that pump. And then just next to it here, you got this wicked waterfall system, which I can imagine at night the lights shining through that waterfall would look pretty cool. But you can see some big comets down here. These fish are all for sale as well. So another thing I do like about this section, and it is an important part of the aquarium store these days, is there is a partner bench seat here. So if you want to spend some time looking around the shop and you've got your partner or your kids or your housemate or whatever with you, they can sit on that bench seat there and just chill out by the relaxing sounds of the pond. Now, this store, the Tech Den, they have a huge online presence, but I got to tell you, it's not just a hole-in-the-wall store. This place is massive, and they have heaps and heaps and heaps of dry goods, including what has to be the biggest range of tanks I've seen set up. Dry tanks on display, so you can come in and compare, have a look at each and every brand, all of the sizes, all the different color finishes, things like that, so you can really pick the tank that's going to suit you and your home. And I tell you what, it's a testament, because I've been involved in setting up a couple of dry tanks for shop display purposes before, and it's a task, it really is. So to see this many systems here, and obviously heaps of stock too, if you decide to pull the trigger on one of these tanks after seeing it, you load it up in the car there and then. You not have to order and wait a week or two or a month or two for it to come in. These guys have stock and it's ready to go. So Really, really cool setup there. And even I've spotted over here a UN Systems, which is dear to me because I am currently setting up a UN Systems. This is the first time I've seen in person the bigger UN Systems tank, and this is the big brother of my soft coral tank, and it looks very, very similar. You've just got a much larger power center there. The sump is equally as beautiful. You've got these nice magnetic doors that attach on there, which I have to admit is a little tricky to do one-handed while holding the camera, but beautiful sump there. You saw the plumbing in the box, all adjustable baffles, aluminium stand with glass doors. You can see this one's suggested you could set it up as a freshwater system with some vinewood in there, but I think these make incredible reef tanks. And on the left hand side that I couldn't get to show you, there is the drawer on that system as well, which is super, super handy. And I'm surprised more reef tanks don't have drawers. But heading on over to the livestock section, we'll start off, of course, with the corals. The Tech10 has a couple of big systems here, full to the brim of corals, all for sale. You can see this system here running a Coral Essentials setup, so you've got all of the Aussie-made Coral Essentials dosing gear in there, Reef Factory doses and KH testers. And then in here you can see we've got some big Aussie elegance, some nice hammers, frog spawns in here. See some nice fish in there, making sure there's a little bit of nutrient in the system. Got a beautiful clam in the middle there, some acans, and don't worry, I will get the DSLR on these tanks so you can have a good look from the top down to really showcase the colors, because here you are. Have a look at these pieces. These hammers look so much nicer under the DSLR. I can really show you the color of what they have to show us. And look at these frog spawns here. Nice extension on them. Really good health on these pieces. It's almost like a bumpy torch, the extensions on those froggies. They look great. Over to some acans here, and you can see really nice colors there. Very nice size pieces too. I must admit I didn't catch the price of these pieces, but we will see the price of some corals to come shortly, and you'll be surprised at just how affordable they are. And I can say that the staff here are absolutely top notch. They've got marine specialist staff in to answer any of your questions on the saltwater side of the hobby, and of course plenty of freshwater experts as well, but it's the marine side of things that can be a little bit tricky these days. And you see here, looks like a nice, I think that's a heliofungia there, big extension on it. We'll roll on over to the second coral tank, or the first side of the second coral tank, I will say. You see some big Aussie wild collected acros in there, some chalice. You got a monster bubble there, huge bubble. This Monty's quite nice. Wait till you see that under the DSLR. Beautiful color throughout, and again, lots of fish in there. Some nice favias and things too. Look at this big unicorn. What a big stunning fish. I do love them. It's just a shame they get so big, but we'll get the DSLR on this tank so you can have a look, and we can see some nice acros here. I'm not sure how long these pieces have been here, but they're probably somewhere into their stage of transitioning color as they acclimate into aquarium life. Nice blasto rock there. You got some alveos by the looks. Probably some gonies not too far away as well, but nice little assortment of alveos there. Here is that monster bubble coral, and it's not the toxic yellow color, but it is a huge showpiece nonetheless. Couple of little stinger cells coming out of it, as the bubbles tend to do. And here is this Monty that I was talking about. Look at the colors on this thing. It's got all sorts going on through there. Nice greens and reds, big showpiece size piece as well. And then up here, this one looks a little bit more like your sort of Superman there. It's sort of reds and blues in it. Over onto some favias, favietes, something along that sort of species. I must admit I always get those confused, but nice little LPS pieces nonetheless. Onto some Aussie war coral there. And then heading on over here, you can see we've got some nice torch, including a stunning Aussie gold torch. I do love these things, and it looks to be in good health. Even one there looks a little bit holy grail. That's quite a lot of green in there. Green heart with the yellow stems. Very nice indeed. But we'll roll on over to the second side of the marine tank. And I can say, you can see these are lit up here by the Reef Factory reef flares, mounted quite high above the tank too. And then on this side, we've got some really cool little frag racks that tilt forward to show you the pieces. And we've got a great assortment of gonies in there. Again, we will get a look with the DSLR. There's no shortage of Euphilia frags in there. They could be from Monsoon Aquatics, just looking at the size and color and shape of them, but I couldn't tell you for sure. But there's a great assortment here, some really nice encrusting frags. You've got some nice Cephastrias, some Alveoporas. In fact, here is some of these gonies, and you can see the great assortment there is. From your blues, your greens, your reds, your pinks, all of those gonies in there, and you might even find a little bit of glitter on a couple of them in there as well.
Heading across over to this Euphyllia section where they are jam-packed in there. And I think this makes sense now why we saw so many hammers in that display tank at the front, because this section here is absolutely chock-a-block. These hammers are elbows out trying to get a bit of space here. And they're all frags. They're all single heads, but there is heaps of them in there and a great assortment. Some really nice mottles, blotchies, greens, reverses, you name it, plenty in there and all very nicely priced. Over onto your encrusting LPS section here, and you can see we've got Favias. You haven't got some SBS actually, but you've got all sorts in here. Some nice little SBS frags there. Heading on over here, we've got some Monties, some Chalice, some nice Chalice actually. Nice swirl through that one there. Very nice. Nice little green and purple Chalice there. Some nice convict ones there. Beautiful Chalice indeed. I quite like the green and purple. The purple rings is very nice. Over under some Favia frags, you can see some Dragon Souls and things there. And then we come onto the second side of the second coral tank, the last of the coral systems, but fear not, there's plenty more to see at the tech den. And of course, I will get the DSLR above this system as well, so we can have a good look, because I just can't show you the color of these pieces here. But what I can show you is the price. Have a look at this, frag sale, $15 a frag, buy two, get one free, which basically means 3 for $30. $10 Australian a frag, and we'll get a good look at those with the DSLR in a second. Here are some of those nice Blasto frags there. Heading across here, you've got some nice little bubble coral frags, which is not something you see fragged all that often, I have to admit. You've got some Lobos there. Here's some more hammers, some really nice hammers too. Great color on these. Bearing in mind, there's so much natural light in this room, and these things are still glowing. I cannot imagine what they look like in a dark room with just your blues and UVs on, but some nice reverse frog spawns there, and some nice blue tip frog spawns as well, just to give you a bit of contrast. Over onto some Gonies and Alveos, nice little assortment there, a little bit of glitter showing in those too. And then onto some more hammers. Yes, these guys are stocked to the absolute brim with hammers, and they're all stunners too, looking great health as well, I've got to say. Nice little, really tight little clusters of heads on them there. Then you come across into these $15 or 3 for $30 Australian dollar frag section. You can see you've got Duncans, you've got Favias. Come across into some mazes there. You've got beautiful pieces, yeah. Heading up into some Monties. You've got some Aussie Wars there. You've got, that looks to be maybe some Sephastrias in there as well. So great assortment of stock, particularly at that really low price point, which is fantastic. Now, moving on to the fish and inverts, you can see a nice little, pretty feisty looking coral banded shrimp in there. Beautiful high-end clownfish. In fact, you're going to see lots of really nice designer clowns in these tanks. The guys here at the Tech Den have got a huge assortment of clownfish. Also a nice abalone, I think that is up there. Massive cleanup crew, and check out the urchin there with a 3D printed witch's hat that he has very kindly collected as per the name would suggest and put on his back. It's a shame he hasn't quite got it sitting upright so he looks like a wizard, but you know, sometimes you you take the cards you've dealt. Now, heading on down here, have a look. I did tease there'd be some really nice clownfish. Have a look at these guys. Almost platinums, but with just a couple of little dots of orange and black throughout there. You can see more clowns back there, some fire gobies. You've also got some Decora gobies by the look there. Have a look at that. Is that a little baby urchin in? Oh, it's a Christmas tree worm. Wow, nice. Very nice little bonus on that little bit of rock in there. Heading on down here, you can see some sea sponge there. You got some nice little scooter blennies as well, kicking about, enjoying life in the system there. Looks like with the chain there, that could be a tank that sometimes has some seahorse. Heading on over here, we've got some more clowns. These ones a little bit more of your standard Oki patterns on them, nothing too exotic, but the options don't end there. You can see you've got some nice sort of patterns on these guys here. Nice mix of orange and whites and black and whites in there. All juvies though, so the black and whites will mature a little bit as, or their colors will mature as they get a bit older. Australian stripey, you've got some chromis, tiny little rabbit fish in there. Some more stripies. Nice couple of convict tangs in here. Of course, these two are hanging out near each other and trying to flex to see who's going to be the boss, but tang life, I guess. Heading up here, beautiful big lionfish for those looking for the predator fish. Now heading across here, looks like a yellow assessor. In fact, you got a few in there. Oh, you got a nice angel in there too, actually. I didn't notice him initially, but very nice. Keyhole angel there. What do we got down in this system? We've got some royal dottybacks, bicolor angels. You got a beautiful long-nosed hawk there that I've just pointed out. I love those fish, such personalities. You got some blennies here, a nice fox face, golden head sleeper goby pair by the looks, the way they're swimming together. big maroon clownfish here and a lovely little anemone. Nice little combo there. Some more keyhole angels. Looks like an Eebly angel. You've got some damsels in there. Heaps and heaps of marine fish. Like I said, I was blown away. I knew the tech den was big, but I did sort of get a little bit persuaded by the size of their online store. But these guys have got a massive presence, and as I said in the intro, I think it's probably Australia's biggest dedicated aquarium. And just a quick pan down there at the huge number of freshwater tanks. I'm not going to go through them all, but they go along this entire back wall, 3 high. So many freshwater fish. I'll point out a couple as we go past, but freshwater fish are definitely not my forte, so I won't embarrass myself too much, but I can say I do love this plant tank here. I get the camera to focus on it, but it has that cool setup where the water flows out of the top, overflows down the front pane of the glass, and then rolls down into the next tank, and then over and over again. Gives this really unique perspective, and I don't know, there's something about it I always like. Maybe it's a nostalgia thing from when I went to pet stores as a child, but I do like this section here too, a huge assortment of stones for all of your aquascaping needs, and of course no shortage of vines and driftwoods out on display, so you can pick them up and work out where you're going to put them. You can see some nice fish in here, L333s in there, so you've got some nice bristlenose or plecos, I believe they are. Heading over here you can see a nice little assortment of some plant cultures, I think is the way you say it. I love these. They look like roast chickens to me, the way they come in these little bags, but that just keeps them nice and humid, and I haven't been able to put that one back properly, so I'm going to have to put the camera down in a minute and go put that plant back properly. And then here you've got the UN Systems Forester system, which that's a lot of times saying system, but in this system here, you've also got some carnivorous pitcher plants in here, which I got to say come at a premium price, but man, it gives me vibes of Little Shop of Horrors of having this little paludarium growing with some carnivorous plants in there that are going to eat, not plants, but flies and things that go in there, which is super cool. Now down here you can see some assorted Anubias, and that forester system keeps everything very well humid and moist in there, so there's plenty of moisture in there to keep those plants thriving. Now on this side you can see the other side of the rocks. You can see they charge per 100 grams rather than kilos, so you can really narrow down on what you want, and you've got no shortage of substrates and soils across here. I'm not going to go into all of them because they're mostly freshwater stuff, but let's have a look over here, because I did say that I'd have a quick look at some of the fish, the freshwater fish that are in, and some very pretty fish in here. You can see a nice little dwarf gourami showcasing my very slowly expanding knowledge of freshwater fish, but we'll keep on rolling and I'll point out some more as we go. Over here we do have some betas with some nice little plants in there with them, and betas always get my attention. I must admit I did not get the DSLR on them, and I should have, because I don't think there's a more photographable fish out there than the betas. They just really turn it on for the camera. Now we get back into some marine items here, and you can see a huge wall of supplements in here, from Continuum to Quantum, Reef Factory API. You've got Salifert test kits there. So many. You've got Red Sea, obviously Reef Antibiotics. A whole range of all of these brands here, and I got to say, very well priced. You can see some discounted things here, so like their Red Sea kits, or you got the Foundation Pro there. They've got all the refill kits and things like that too, so they carry such a huge range. And like I said, it's not just online. Obviously they do have a big online presence, but all of this stuff is on the shelf in their store, which is super cool. We've also got Aquaforest, a big purple wave at the end of this row, obviously very well represented throughout the store, and you can see they've got plenty of the purple wall there. You can see Coral Essentials on the other side to give you the Australian competitor. And then you come on over here, we've got more Continuum, Ocean Nutrition. What else have we got there? Hikari in both their pellets, seaweeds, and other items there. You've got plenty of carbons, a good assortment of some veggies. So you've got Julian Sprung in there as well. You go into some feeders and Julian's Thing. You've got some treatments there from like Fauna Marine and Sea Chem. And then up the end here was have a quick look at some more freshwater fish, see if I can identify what these are. I'm going to say these are rainbow fish. I'm sure you freshwater guys will laugh at me, but they've got plenty of color on them, so let's go with rainbow fish. Alright, heading on over here, we'll see some more incredible range of dry goods, and we get into a skimmer wall here. So we've got Nios, Red Sea, Bubble Magus, Great White. you name it, the guys have got it here. And then even through into some Aqua One if you're looking for something a bit cheaper, but at least the good Aqua One ones there, not the G220s, I think they are. Moving on to some specialized things like top-down viewers, some tongs, filter socks. You've got a life source there. And then over here, you've got a huge range of my favorite brand of RODI providers. That's Reef Pure RO. These guys here have got the full systems and a good assortment of the full systems, all of the parts, replacements, consumable items, even their CO2 scrubber, huge bulk packs of the DI resin. You see it is all there. And then you come across, you've even got the, right next to the RO, you've obviously got the Red Sea RO jerry cans there. Then you get onto Clariseas and other brands of filter rollers. So you've got Clarisea, Reef Factory, Red Sea. Then you get onto some reactors, so you've got that Nios, Phosban, things like that there. Now, let's test my knowledge on some freshwater fish again. And looking at these guys, oh, there's a Corydoras, I think that's how you pronounce them. It looks like in with some sort of type of tetra. Now, you guys can tell me in the comments below if I'm incorrect on that or not. No, I promise I won't lose sleep over it. Heading on over here, we have a section of Halia chillers, and trust me, it's not just Halia they have here, but you can see, again, no need to order and wait a month for these to come in. They're on the shelf ready for you to load up today. Heading on here, massive range of both marine and freshwater New Life Spectrum. You get into some other brands of freshwater foods there, and then over there you can even see Dimax Foods, looks like Tetra Foods, all sorts. Moving on to some interesting brands here. This is one I've not seen before. It's sort of like a, let's have a look, Better Pet. It looks like a sort of a locally made fish food there that could give you a cheaper alternative out there, which is always good to see, not just the expensive items. And I'm not going to look too closely at the freshwater fish because I have noticed in stock on the shelf Teco chillers, which is something you almost never see. Up this aisle is some interesting things. You've got some egg crate, and you've got them in interesting ways. This is like egg crate that's been cut into quarters. You get 4 of these smaller sheets as opposed to 1 big sheet, which is a really good idea, and that way it's cut cleanly. Of course, you do have the big full-size sheets there, should you want them. Heading on over here, we've got backings for tanks, and then you get onto massive pond foods, and it's almost like buying like bulk dog foods from like the movie Beethoven. You've got these huge bags, but at the other end of the spectrum, you've got some small test kits here, obviously Fluval, API, Sarah, all of your range of freshwater test kits, and a huge assortment of heaters, which obviously works across freshwater and marine, but I really like to see a huge range there from Eheim, one of the premier brands. And of course, you go through some other ones. Aqua L have a really good heater. I really like these Ultra ones. They're non-breakable, very slimline, nice, easy to adjust dial on them, and even some affordable options there from the likes of Aqua One. Now, heading up here, we've got electric blue yabbies, which are written on the glass, and you've even got archerfish. There's not much of a challenge this time, it's written on the glass, but here they are here. You can see $90 each. I know from what I've overheard in the freshwater scene, archerfish is something that people are pretty excited about, and I'm pretty sure my good mate Bodgy has got a few of these in his tank. If you haven't checked out Bodgy from Australia's YouTube channel, good friend of mine that does a lot of really good work on YouTube. Now, here you've got a range of, looks like some pond pumps, and then you get onto some UV clarifiers and sterilizers, depending on the power you go for there. You can see some aqua twists there, as well as some EIMs and things. Moving on to return pumps, all of the brands here: Siche, Delua, Dimax, Seacam, Red Sea, of course, and some of your other names. There is even more behind the counter up the front. We'll get to those near the end. Heading on over here, you've got some power heads that go inside your freshwater tanks. I say power heads, they're kind of like internal canister filters, if that's not the completely wrong way of saying it, but they're sort of like an internal filter, I guess. Over here, you can see, yeah, we've got some goldfish, got some comets, various sizes, various patterns there. I'm pretty sure Queensland is the same as Victoria. No koi allowed here, only New South Wales. So unfortunately no koi in store, but you can pick up some big ponds, and again, on the shelf ready to go. And you can see big canister filters there. Even I'm going to have a laugh at this View Half Moon. This is an above ground pond, and I tell you what, these two up here don't look like they're looking at the pond too much. They're enjoying a glass of wine and each other's company. Maybe that's what I need to do. Get myself an above ground pond and maybe it'll improve romance. I'm not sure. The packaging or marketing would suggest that. But coming on through here, you can see huge range of canisters, some big Eheims, big Fluvels. You got FX2, FX4, all of the range, of course. And then over here, FX6, you've got Aqua One Nautilus. Got some backings, and you get onto some things like your Exoterra terrariums there, which are really cool to see. You've got some of the wide ones there. I think on the other side they've got some talls and extra talls and things like that, depending on the sort of style you're looking to set up. But there's a small tall, that's quite the mouthful, and then you've even got the small extra tall, which is, yeah, it's got quite a small footprint, but it does go up a long way. And you see that one's even reduced to clear. I think that even comes with the back wall. So I got to say, after seeing a few of these set up at Deer Park Aquarium, I'm getting a little bit of a green thumb for those terrarium setups. They look really cool. But across here, you've got all sorts of pond medications and conditioners. Have a look at the size of these filter mats here. That's what I talk about in buying bulk. Huge filter mats there. Obviously got the Oki strap around them to stop them falling over. And then you come across here, you've got this looks like some reptile sort of supplies, some new products for the tech den here, and you've got some backing walls, you've got some rocks, you've got some ornaments and things like that. I'm sure some of these would probably work in fish tanks too, but a little bit of a branch out and diversify for the tech den, which is super cool to see. And then we come along the front here. In fact, I'll just pan around. That big skull there looks pretty cool. You've got some more reptile items over there. You can see new products there, so you've got heat lamps and things like that. Over here, you've got all of your ornaments and things, from some big ones through to, Guardians of the Galaxy. You've got Groot and whatnot. Up the back there, you can see just how much shipping this place does, the tech den, and you see they've got a full section here with dedicated staff that are just packing orders into those boxes and getting them sent out the door to you, which must be an absolute, I was going to say a full-time job. It's obviously a full-time job. It's multiple people's full-time job. But the goods continue. You can see all the different scrapers here. Continuum. You've got the Fluval, all sorts there. You've got meteors there, ceramic rings. You've got Marine Pure, of course, Polyp Lab. And actually, interesting point, while I was in store, the owner of Polyp Lab from Canada was in store as well. So I better give Polyp Lab a shout-out. Come across here, you get into like your Matrix and things like that. You've even got this Nitropore here, which is a nice little interesting product I have played with before. Very good at temporarily at least, or in the short term, pulling out some nitrates. So if you just want to reset your nitrates, it's a great way to do that in a nice little filter. It's a very fine product, so just be careful with it like that. Into a huge wall of Seachem across here, including freshwater and marine items. Onto some Dimax. You've got Vogel down on the base there. Heading on the other side, you can see some API products, LCA products. You name it, the guys have got it here, and I've got it on the shelf. Yeah, Easy Life there. What do we got on the end here? Because there's normally some big items on the end, and I'm super curious what's here. We've got some aqua, looks like some foods or some water conditioners there in the packs. Super interesting. Big tubs of it, so yeah, okay, no worries. I must admit I don't know everything about freshwater, so I am learning. Heading on to tropical foods here, and you can see the yellow packaging from a mile away. Good assortment here, even the big tubs there, and yeah, when I say big tubs, I mean big tubs. And then you get across into some Dainichi foods here, which I just learnt about. Some of the advantages of Dainichi with some clay in the food, which helps a little bit of roughage helps the digestive system of your fish, and of course all your ocean nutrition range of foods there. We come down to Hikari here, and I got to say I love these big. Have a look at this species specific. This big pack of algae wafers there. Big foil pack. I got to say, you must go through a lot of algae wafers to need a pack that big. But should you want it, the team here have it. And of course, the rest of the range, Hikari as well. Sarah on the end. And then you come across here, we've got some nice little Aqua lights and things there. In fact, we spill over into a huge range of lights here. Most of the freshwater lights here, from your basic ones, you've got your LED Stars, which is a new brand that's making a bit of a wave on the Australian market. I think we've got some Chihirios there. Over there, you got all of your air stones and pumps and things like that. And then even more lights on this side here through to your LED systems from Aqua One. But if we have a look over at the counter, which I did promise is where some of the treasures are, you've got some live foods there. You've got your frozen foods, of course, and then you get all of the juicy stuff behind the counter. But have a look at this little UN Systems tank here. This is just all fog. It looks really cool. In fact, you can see the price over there. Ultimate Nature Systems. It's a Forester paludarium. They've got live blackworms there. And if you ever look behind the counter, in between all of the stock that's getting shipped out, you've got all of your Ecotech products from Vortex, Radiance. You've got Reef Factory, Kessels, Vectras. You've got smart testers from Reef Factory, reagents. You've got Kamoa. You've got Chihirios, MaxSpect. All of the goods there, and of course all of the dosing supplements here from Coral Essentials, even Brightwell down there, and then up here you've even got Red Sea Reef View glasses, which is super cool. Basically just an orange lens glass, so when you walk around the blue section of the corals, you're going to see full disco colors. But hopefully this video has given you a bit of an appreciation for just how big the Tech Den is. Not just a massive website with the best prices Australia-wide, but a huge store with heaps of dry goods on the shelf, an endless amount of freshwater tanks, and of course, no shortage of marine fish and corals, and even some display tanks to wet the whistle on what you could do in your own home.
Alright guys, there you have it. That is the tour of the Tech Den. Let me know in the comment section below if you agree, if you think this is Australia's biggest aquarium store, or if you think there's something bigger out there, because if there is, I'd love to see it. The Tech Den was absolutely incredible. A huge range of both livestock, but also what has to be Australia's biggest range of dry goods. Absolutely eye-opening. So well done to the team for putting together such an incredible store. Now I will wrap things up there, but I do want to give a quick shout out to these names on screen here. These are my channel members who chip in a couple of dollars each and every month to make videos like this one possible, and for that I humbly appreciate your support. If you want to support the channel but don't have a couple of dollars each month to spare, fear not, you can hit the subscribe button in the bottom corner down there. That takes 2 seconds of your time and does not cost a cent today, tomorrow, or anytime in the future. Now before I wrap things up, I will quickly mention that I do have an extra bonus video tomorrow. I did a quick little presentation at Fragorama on the things that I wish I knew before getting into reefing, and I figured it would be worthwhile to record that and share that with you guys here, just in case you could not make the incredible show that was Fragorama. So if you're interested, I'll have that presentation up tomorrow, same place, same time, and I look forward to seeing you then. Till then guys, stay safe, keep reefing. Cheers guys, bye.
Just one last quick little thing to add to the video. If you are a podcast enthusiast, be sure to look up the Submerged podcast on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts. This weekend's episode has a special guest, Ania, the Queen of Coral herself.